externally now as well, of course, certainly in our hemisphere of the world. But also as people start thinking, maybe now we're getting into Q4, what are they doing in 2019? It's another good chance for people to start thinking about what that refresh or upgrade or development and evolution might look like as well. So we'll sort out details for that a little bit later on. Now, I do have a question for you here. As I said, I would do. Do you find it easy to design for clients or for yourself? And how do you deal with it for yourself when you know it's time, when you've got this thing going on in your mind that says it's time? How do you approach that?
It has gotten easier for me to design for myself over the years. It was never for a long time. I had an easier time working with clients, and I could never quite figure out my own brand and how I wanted to present myself. And that was because I wasn't doing the whole mood board process. And I wasn't really even doing it for my clients, but I just have a very intuitive nature of understanding people when I get on the phone with them. So I didn't have to always do that. And then for myself, I think I just like too many different things. And I mean, I went from one personal brand that was like teal green and purple and gold and all these rich colors. And then 2 months later, now everything went to like white, gray, black and white, and very neutral. So I have a lot of, I like a lot of different styles. And I think that's what makes me a good designer, is that I can get on board with bright colors. I can get on board with black and white. I can get on board with neutrals and blues and yellows. So like I can design any different style. But yeah, no, for myself, it's actually been a lot of fun. The past year that I've been kind of enhancing my own personal brand and then developing the Simple Brand Academy, I've had a lot of fun with it, and I don't feel like I've struggled with it at all.
Yeah, I'll just tap into certainly one of the anecdotal pieces from design agency time for me was very much the way that I used to hear the designers and so on coming back in saying, oh yeah, particularly for new clients as well, this idea that the client says they want something new, fresh, bold, we want to do this with it, we want to do that with it. And then funnily enough, you realize a couple of weeks later, yeah, they stuck with corporate blue. And you kind of think that there seems to be all this desire and emotion for something that's a real change. And then actually people just sort of retrench back into something and go for the safety piece. Is that something that you see happen a lot in entrepreneurial world? Or do you think that people actually do embrace that idea of saying, no, here is something that will make an impact, it will be visual, I'm prepared to take the chance?
Yeah, no, for sure. I can't even probably count on one hand how many clients I've worked with who just want the safe choice. Everybody wants that, wow factor. Like whether and I have a ton of clients who want the clean, organic, white, pink, and I'm sure I attract them because that is what my brand looks like. So I have a lot of clients that want kind of what I have, but then I've got the clients who want to go bold and colorful and bright and vivid. And we pretty much stay on that track. I haven't really had anybody kind of back off and want to kind of revert back to something safer.
Yeah, I guess now that actually the way that you're engineering a mood board challenge so that people are tending to bring their thoughts to you in the first place, I guess gives you a better inkling from the off just how bold and how far they're prepared to take something, perhaps in the imagery that they're presenting you with, because they've had to curate it themselves. And I don't see why people would provide you with things that they don't really like for running through that challenge. So I'm presuming that's a great help to you as a business owner in people doing that initial filtering piece for themselves almost.
Yeah. And really it just started that I've had clients doing that mood board for themselves and then me doing the design work really up until a couple months ago. The clients that I work with, I'm doing the mood board. I'm just asking them all the same questions that I ask in the challenge. I ask you questions, you answer them, and you do your mood board. And then with my work, I ask you the questions, you answer them, and then I do the mood board. Either way, it's very helpful to start the project that way. And then the clients who are doing their own, they're the ones that are going on to do their own design work and create their own logos and create all of their own stuff. So it'll be interesting to see now that I'm having clients do mood boards and then me do the design work, how maybe if their mind changes at all, like once they've done their report and they see what I do with it. I don't know. We'll see. And I have to see how that goes.
But that's part of the fun evolutionary piece, though, isn't it? Really.
Right.
So one of the other things that that strikes me is, whilst we're talking about trying to grab attention in all of these social feeds in particular, perhaps, do you? And I would definitely say Instagram is a great example of it. You see feeds that, to me, I have to say, they just look beautiful. The way that people have clearly found that confluence of colours, imagery, style, those sorts of things, they just look beautiful. And I think mine looks like a dog's dinner. It's sort of, here's some of this, here's some of that, and here's a bit of my real life, and here's a thing going on now. Right. And I think, is my perception that people are spending like just so much time creating that image. And I guess if all your business comes from Instagram, fair enough, it's where your people are and that's important to you. Right. But I think for people who are crossing the boundaries between website, Facebook, using Facebook ads as well, Instagram, Twitter, all these different platforms, Pinterest as well, I'm sure. How do you, to me, it's a bit like sort of herding cats from a design perspective. How do you coach your clients? How do you take people through a process that says, yes, the way that people view imagery on these platforms is slightly different, but we can maintain style? How does that tend to play out?
Well, the first thing that I tell my clients is that they don't have to do all of the platforms. They shouldn't do all the platforms. Like, pick one, and whichever one is where your clients are hanging out the most, pick that one to start with. And I will also say that the ones who have the perfect Instagram feed, the perfect Instagram stories, the perfect Facebook feed, the perfect posts, the perfect website, they probably have someone doing that for them, I would think. Yeah. I know there's tons of beautiful Instagram feeds out there, but a lot of those feeds I feel like are not necessarily an online personal brand or an entrepreneur. And if they are, they've got assistants helping with that. Some of those feeds are just people who just love to take pictures and just have a really good design aesthetic, and they're just posting beautiful pictures every day like it's their job to do that. Like me personally, like I don't have time to do Instagram and Facebook and all the different things. And like you were saying, having like your personal life, like my personal life doesn't match my business life at all. I have 4 messy boys and my life is messy and my kids are dirty. You don't wear pink and white and green and, they're in their Nike clothes every day. And so I had to create a separate Instagram account just for them to put my picture for my family. And then that way I reserved my business account to keep it looking pretty and aesthetic. And, but I mean, I do help my clients get some clarity around what they want their social media feeds to look like, and provide them either with templates that they can use to create that cohesive feed, or give them direction as to how they can create that own cohesive feed themselves. I don't really get into it too much because not everybody is there yet doing that perfect feed. But it's definitely something, it kind of all comes out of the overall look and feel of your brand. Should your pictures be colorful or more washed out? And so
it's interesting, isn't it? Because again, Instagram, I think there is that element of, yes, there is the personal aspect, there is the business aspect for people, but it's also that moment of authenticity, isn't it? It's there's a photo that I need to take, and I feel the need to share it. Mm-hmm. But it's got, from my perspective, it's got no blue in it. It's got nothing. So I think about things like the sunrise, for example, and you think, no, I need to take a photo of that. That should be out there for people to see and witness. But it just doesn't fit with anything else.
Right.
And I think, you can also get totally hung up on stuff like that.
Yeah. And I feel like, the more authentic you can be in sharing your real life and your real stories, like that's what people connect to as well. People want to see you living your life, and they want to see what goes on behind the scenes. They want to see you with your kids and your family. And so sharing that, it may not look perfect, but it's still a part of your brand and still a part of who you are. So I think it's important to share that.
Okay, just a mid-show reminder, quick reminder for you all. Profit Levers radio show brought to you by Coach on Fire Radio, fortnightly show airing at midday PST, 3 p.m. EST and 8 p.m. GMT. Our next show's on Monday the 17th of September, and that'll be at the same time. Remember to check us out on social media. We've got Sara Masci with us tonight. We'll post her social details in the replay that'll be coming out. And my Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages all at Jason A. Withers. So, tell us then your 5 stages of the branding journey. Talk us through that process. How does that work?
So that comes into play with my entrepreneurs, early stage entrepreneurs who are just still trying to figure everything out and haven't been in business long enough to understand really what they're doing and where they're going. And they just know they want to have an online business, and they know they have a handful of skills, but they have no idea how to bring that to life and craft their own unique personal brand. So the 5 stages are: stage 1 is confusion. And this is where you're just like, you're overwhelmed. You don't know if you don't know what you want to do. You don't know if you can even create something. You don't even know how to create something if you could, and you're just overwhelmed and confused. Then stage 2, you go into clarity. And this is where I guide my clients on getting complete understanding on what it is they want to be known for. I have tons of questions that we can go through together, or they go through on their own, to just really journal it out and get clear on what is the one thing. If money was no object, if it didn't matter, if you were doing it for free, what would you be doing? Because you want to, develop your brand around something that truly brings you happiness, and because otherwise it's not going to stick. You're not going to be doing it forever if, you're not excited about it. And clarity also, in the clarity stage, I also show them that they are capable of creating this brand themselves, and that there are tools out there available that like Canva and all different, online tools that they can then go ahead and create this themselves. And I will be their guide and mentor them and teach them how to use these tools. And then stage 3 is the creation stage. And this is the fun stage where we're creating everything, creating your brand, your logo, picking out your colors, creating your website, your landing page, your lead magnets, your social media platforms. And then once you've got all that created, you go into the connection stage. And this is when you're still creating a little bit, but now people are starting to notice you and notice that you have a brand, and they're starting to see consistency in your brand. They see you in different groups, and they're starting to take note of you because they're seeing you in different places, and it's the same message that you're sharing throughout all of your platforms. So you're connecting with people, you're starting to see that this is actually, you're making money, and things are just looking really good. And then the final stage is confidence. And this is when you're making connections all the time, and you are 100% confident in your brand. You know that your message is solid everywhere, all those social platforms, like you were saying. This is when you have an assistant or multiple assistants who are kind of helping you keep all the balls in the air. But you've got, 100% brand confidence, clarity in your branding and your messaging. And this is when you're getting clients and getting cash.
So this is the process that you take people through, essentially, I'm presuming, through your membership program.
Yes. Yeah. So I take them through this in the membership program, but clients that I work with one-on-one are also going to experience the same process. They're not going to necessarily be doing all the creating themselves. I usually get them started with it and then teach them how to continue with it.
Yeah. Okay. And around the membership piece then, so membership is new for you in 2018. Mm-hmm. We obviously have the tribe piece with Stu McLaren in tow in the background there as part of the influence within that. What was it that made you decide to jump on board with that? How did you get to the conclusion? I'll say from a business structure point of view, from your own point of view, again, what was the catalyst for deciding that membership would be a good way to go? Was that just about the ability to serve more people in a different way?
Yeah, I mean, serving more people was definitely one of the main reasons that I wanted to do this, and it's actually an idea that I've been sitting on for a couple of years now. I've always known that I can guide people to do this themselves. People, and I get really